Hi, this is Lee Giles from Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschool. I'm going to continue Nathaniel's story. He had the brain surgery and put a shunt, it's called, in his brain. And then he was in the hospital for 2 months during this time. And I saw him once a week. It wasn't anything like in America. They let parents in once a day at a certain time. And there'd be like this horde there, and then they'd all go rushing in. I was pumping. My husband would deliver milk every day, so he went every day and saw him. We weren't allowed to touch him at all. It's in an incubator in his own room for most of the time, and towards the end, he got to be in like a group room in an incubator. But on one of the occasions when I went to visit him, I had my husband stand watch at the door, and I snuck him out of his incubator, and I nursed him. And that was that. And then I think it was 3 weeks went by, and he was in the big room, and I went in one day, and I noticed he wasn't hooked up to any tubes anymore. So I said to the doctor, he's not hooked up anymore. Can I take him? And he said, yeah, I know he's not hooked up anymore, but he has to be fed through a tube. He lost his sucking reflex. And to prove his point, he's like, we tried bottles, we tried pacifiers, he won't suck on anything. And to prove his point to me, he put his pinky finger in his mouth, and he didn't suck on it, which would be the natural reaction. But I knew a few weeks before I had nursed him that one day. So I just made myself a nuisance and nagged and bugged and nagged and nagged. Let me try to nurse him. Let me try. Until I exasperated him, and he's like, fine, go try. So I said, well, send the nurse in to check so she can, prove it that he's nursing. So I took the baby into the room, and he nursed for half an hour. And the nurse came in and checked, and I showed her. And so we finally went out and talked to the doctor, and he, I don't know, to save face, like he wouldn't admit that it happened, but he let us sign the documents, saying, I understand my baby might die and it'd be all my fault. We had to sign the papers, signing him out of the hospital. And he's like, you can take him, but bring him back tomorrow to get weighed. He can't eat, he's gonna lose weight, bring him back, make sure if he's not gaining weight, they can't keep him at home. So we brought him back the next day, and he had a nursing blister, proving that he had a good strong suck, and took out weight, and the doctor just kind of like grumble, but let us go. And he wouldn't be excited for us. So that was the first miracle to my son's mouth. Now, fast forward, I don't know, about 1.5 years, and all he did was nurse. He gagged on water. He couldn't eat any food, which also means he wasn't really talking, because it's all teeth, mouth, lips, tongue control. He wasn't eating, he wasn't speaking. And then one day he did. I was drinking chocolate milk, and he reached over for it, like he wanted to try it. So I let him, and he drank it. And just like that, no feeding therapy, no introducing, I had tried thinning out rice cereal. Like, I couldn't get him to swallow anything before. Just gagged on everything. And all of a sudden he could eat. He just sat at the table with us and ate our regular food. There was never any like slowly doing anything. He could just do it just like that in that moment. So he started speaking. He never had any speech therapy for like for how he talked. He never needed that. He never like kid like him, like when we first came back to America when he was 4, the doctor's like, he's not drooling. Is he on medicine for drool? You know, they expected him not to be able to control his mouth and things like that. So, that was his second mouth miracle. We had someone once at church come up to us and said, "I've been praying for your family. I just feel like the Lord's blessed his mouth." Um, and I'm like, to speak, I don't know if that means he's going to be a preacher or what. I just feel like he's blessed his mouth. And I'm like, we can confirm that's true. We know he has. What that means, but we know he has. So it's one of the miracles that we've experienced with our Nathaniel. And I'll be back tomorrow with another story.